It was right around here that Rodgers took that big hit that forever changed the Packers' 2017 season. He suffers the second broken collarbone of his career.
Yeah, Melissa, Mike McCarthy confirmed a little more than an hour ago that Rodgers will require surgery on that broken collarbone, and again reiterated that he could miss the rest of the 2017 season.
Now, as far as the Open coming back here, the USGA has all the sites picked out through 2026, so it'd be at least a decade if the Open did come back to ERIN Hills, but from what we're hearing, it's a very strong possibility. His stardom here at Camp Randall Stadium is what has made him a household name, but his story actually began here at Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln High School, where Beagle led the Red Raiders to a state runner-up finish in 2011. Not exactly great planning on the game day program Thursday night. The Packers were without these two guys, starting offensive tackles David Bakhtiari and Brian Balaga, but you wouldn't necessarily have known it from the way the game played out. What a fantastic finish in a must-win game for the Packers. When Aaron Jones touched the ball for the first and only time on Sunday, the rookie says he was thinking just one thing.
Do something. This is my first carry. Make the most of it.
4 weeks ago, a month ago, you were the fourth string running back, and now you're out there 125 yards at AT&T Stadium, 15-yard runs on incredible game-winning drives. I mean, how do you make that transition in a month's time?
Just going in preparing as if I'm going to play every week.
The collective theme from the Packers after this one was they just ran out of gas. After a magical 8-game run to get them to this spot, the green and gold just didn't have what it took to keep up with a red-hot Falcons team today. And yeah, you mentioned it, they fell behind early. The 31-0 deficit, the largest at any point during the Aaron Rodgers era. You had a feeling coming into this one, Green Bay was going to have to outscore the Falcons to get a win. Mike McCarthy said afterwards they felt they could score with anyone, but that wasn't the case today. Might have been different, though, if the first quarter had gone differently. A series of errors really put the Packers in their run-the-table hopes behind the 8-ball.
Yeah, we hurt ourselves early.
Yeah, Melissa, Mike McCarthy confirmed a little more than an hour ago that Rodgers will require surgery on that broken collarbone, and again reiterated that he could miss the rest of the 2017 season. Now, despite that, he is still on the Packers' 53-man roster. There was some speculation today that he could be placed on injured reserve. As of now, that has not happened. McCarthy says Rodgers' surgery has not been scheduled yet, but he is leaving the window open, albeit slightly, to his quarterback playing again this season.
He'll be out a minimum of a significant amount of time.
All eyes once again tonight will be on Aaron Rodgers after he really struggled 4 days ago here against the Dallas Cowboys, turning it over twice, missing some easy throws in big situations. Nothing just looks easy for Rodgers right now, which is in stark contrast from everything we grew to know over the early portion of his career.
Snap to Rodgers. Jackson stays in the block. Rodgers throws the middle.
Oh, my word.
Aaron Rodgers used to make improbable throws look easy.
But Aaron Rodgers, that pinpoint accuracy, doing it again.
Now the easy looks borderline impossible.
It is too high. Oh, my goodness. You got an open receiver, Cobb, in the end zone for a touchdown, and he airmails it.
I just think it's accuracy. I'm just I've missed a couple that I'm used to hitting.
Over the past 2 seasons, Rodgers' completion rate has dropped off 6% from his career average. Your guess as to why is as good as the Packers, who still can't seem to pinpoint a specific problem.
It's multifaceted.
Welcome into the playoff edition of Sports Express. He's Josh. I'm Brandon. We made it, and our goal, I think, is to advance to level 2.
Yeah, I hope we don't get eliminated tonight.
I think there's a good chance we'll be back. As a matter of fact, it's confirmed we will be back for a level 2 edition
sweet.
next week.
Now we just got to stay on air.
Yeah, we did win tonight. Let's get everybody in here and show you where we're at this evening. Maury Hirschgord out in Bonduelle. Stratford, a big game with the Bears out there, and our game of the week in Antigo. Alexis Geffen saw it all as the Red Robins took on Medford. Let's get to that one. Antigo won the regular season matchup there, but only by a touchdown. This time a little bit different as they come out all fired up. First quarter, Matt Winter on the keeper. Winter. Chicken dinner. Could have pitched it, but he kept it. I like that. 7-zip Red Robins on top. Then the defense goes to work on a 3rd and 6. They get the stop. Ben Lindgren taken down behind the line. Ensuing drive, Winter. You don't see this too often through the air.
Tight spiral.
Finds his man, Hunter Bolson, 35 yards on the score. Red Robins up 2 touchdowns, plenty more where that came from. This time on the ground is Dominic Smith. Yeah, you can't tackle me. We're going to see a few more plays like that tonight. A lot of broken tackles this evening. 21-zip at half. Antigo wins it by 40. We go live to Alexis now, and certainly looks, Alexis, like the Robins are peaking at the right time. So UWSP Athletic Director Brad Duckworth says this is one of the most significant punishments in the history of Division III athletics. He says Semling oversaw 4 major NCAA rules violations over the last 5 seasons, stemming from impermissible practices held prior to the NCAA sanctioned start date. Basically, teams aren't allowed to begin practicing until October 15th, and Semling's teams held sessions before that date. The UWSP Athletic Department became aware of the infractions last April. At first, they thought they were secondary violations, but were made aware of the increased severity within the last couple of weeks.
We believe that this is significant.
Well, Aaron Rodgers could soon have even more leverage when he goes into contract talks with the Packers. ESPN is reporting today that the Raiders and their quarterback Derek Carr are on the verge of an agreement that would make Carr the highest paid QB in the league. The deal is not done yet, but it would pay Carr $25 million per season. By comparison, Rodgers makes $22 million a year and currently ranks 6th in QB salary. 12 is under contract through 2019, but this will almost certainly drive his price up when the time comes to negotiate. Here's what he had to say about that during the OTA period.
When it comes to setting the market values, I let that stuff take care of itself. I know my value.
Director Brandon Kinnard joins us now in the studio with more on our special report.
Yeah, Mark, Rebecca, NFL players spend their entire career in the spotlight, garnering attention for triumphs on and sometimes off the field. But that amount of time is a small window, and eventually the bubble is going to burst. Players must then ask themselves the question, what's next? The answer doesn't always come right away.
Finding life after football isn't easy, but George KOONCE wrote the book on it. Literally.
Is there life after football? Survive the NFL?
The former Packers linebacker and Super Bowl 31 champion is traded in his pads.
George KOONCE made a diving interception.
For books. KOONCE is one of only 2 former Packers to earn a PhD, and he's put it to use, helping craft a guide to help players survive the NFL.
A lot of players are sad because all they know is, competing, playing football, and at some point, that bubble's going to burst.
KOONCE now spends his days at Marian University in Fond du Lac, working as the Senior Vice President in the Office of University Relations.
Keep pictures around if there's some students. I like to pass these out.
But even for someone who has found so much success, KOONCE's transition to life after the NFL wasn't exactly smooth. Like many players, he struggled to find his place after a 10-year professional career.
I struggled big time with depression, and it was really, really tough. I had to go through counseling.
Depression that ultimately culminated in a serious car wreck in 2003. KOONCE says he took a curve at 75 miles an hour just to see what would happen. He walked away, but his life was changed forever.
How big of a wake-up call was that for you?
That was a huge wake-up call, because after that incident, that's when I said that my football playing days is over with. That's behind me. Let's move forward. And that was the new George. This is my master's at East Carolina University.
What followed was an emphasis on education.
If you follow Wausau West hockey, the name TOPPLE certainly rings a bell. There's not 1, not 2, but 3 of them stuffing the stat sheet night in and night out, helping to lead the Warriors to yet another state tournament appearance. And as their time on the ice comes to a close, the three-piece of brothers hoping to go out in style.
On the ice at Wausau West, the TOPPLE trio is thrice is nice.
We've got a lot of history with a lot of brothers that have gone through the program, but never, I don't think we've had them in the program at the same time.
Nick, Max, and Sam TOPPLE span 3 years, each playing a vital role on the Warriors' state-bound hockey squad.
Sometimes things will carry over from outside the rink to inside the rink, but it's been a lot of fun.
I mean, growing up when they were skating, yeah, that was nice.
Needless to say, it's a unique dynamic on and off the ice. Each of the 3 brothers bringing his own elements to the rink each and every day.
It's fun to see their different personalities. You know, I mean, obviously, they're three different brothers. They're built three different ways.
Sam, he's the funny one of us. He's the goofball out of the tacklers. Nick's helped me a lot. He really has. I mean, I'd like to assume they look up to me. I've obviously experienced everything first.
Jim Lombardo has been the head pro here at Erin Hills since 2006. Since the day the course first opened, he's been very involved in the planning and execution of this week's major tournament. And he says being this involved in the U.S. Open, the very first time it's played in his home state, truly a dream come true.
Can't lie, I've been thinking about it every day for 2 years.
Jim Lombardo is a 1985 graduate of Wausau East. He grew up playing golf at the American Legion course in Wausau. And now he's an integral part of the world's biggest golf tournament.
Get all squared away. All the decisions we've made up in the last 5, 6, 7 years have been all about this week. We've wanted to get this one right, and we've done a lot of planning. It's going great.
Brandon Kinnard from WAOW details the rise of Vince Biegel.
Since his breakout sophomore season, Vince Biegel has been on everyone's radar. And now with the likes of Joe Schobert and Michael Caputo gone, number 47 becomes the face of the Badgers defense.
Vince Biegel pounds it!
It's a role years in the making, and one Biegel says was worth the wait.
You know, I've really seen my role change a lot at the university. I came in early, was, you know, once in a while pass rusher, but as I've kind of grown and developed and matured as a young man, I've really kind of taken my roles of leadership here. I have my senior season, and I'm really looking forward to the upcoming season here.
But it's a fifth year at Madison that almost didn't happen. How close were you to jumping the gun and turning pro last winter?
Yeah, I was very close. I was fortunate enough to be in contact with some great people, and I got some great advice. You know, I'm a true believer in, you know, a senior season and really coming back for, you know, the state of Wisconsin, for my family, friends, and for this football team. There's still work to be done.
So Biegel comes back for one final go-around in Madison as a fifth-year senior. His stardom here at Camp Randall Stadium is what has made him a household name, but his story actually began here at Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln High School, where Biegel led the Red Raiders to a state runner-up finish in 2011. A much leaner, more clean-cut Vince was then named the Gatorade Player of the Year before joining his home state school as a 4-star recruit.
It's just an honor and a privilege to have coached a kid like that. You know, they come through probably once in a lifetime.
Like any budding athlete, he wasn't as well known in those days, but those who knew him well aren't surprised by what he's become.
We knew he was going to be good, knew he had a shot at the next level even after. If he stayed healthy through college, we figured he'd have a shot at the next level, which you don't get those kind of kids very often.
You don't see Bednarik watch listers come out of Wisconsin Rapids every day. What do you think it was that set you apart from the rest?
You know, I think it was just back home, I just had really great people who I was able to be with and who was able to influence me.
And the ball's knocked out by Vince Biegel.
He wears his heart on his sleeve. He is a consummate leader. When you see him come up from a tackle or making a sack on a quarterback, that emotion, that raw energy is just genuine.
That passion was bred in the small town of Wisconsin Rapids. And even as one of the top defensive players in all of college football, Biegel doesn't plan on forgetting his roots anytime soon.
I'm truly thankful, and I'm always proud of where I come from. I come from Wisconsin Rapids. I come from central Wisconsin. I'm proud to wear that. I'm proud to be here in Madison and represent central Wisconsin. It's home to me.
For the Badgers pregame special, I'm Brandon Kinnard.